Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 2020 My Team career mode for the Russian Grand Prix today. I know a lot of people criticize this circuit in real life for being a bit boring, but in the game it seems to provide some pretty decent racing, so let's hope we can get in amongst it, and that starts here in Q1. So here we go for our first flying lap in Q1. We'll see if we can get through into Q2. Our car pace isn't actually looking that great. I think we're actually the third slowest team on the R&D charts at this point, so we're not really making much progress up the field, unfortunately, but hopefully that will come. We do have some major upgrades on the way, but anyway, as we go through our lap, we just needed to set a banker lap. We missed the apex there and run wide, and we'll see if we can improve on it. Either on a consecutive lap or on another set of tyres if we absolutely have to. I'd prefer if we could get through on just a single set of tyres though, but we've gotten through the first few sectors good enough, running a bit wide there again onto the straight. DRS open though along this back straight with a few slight bends, and it makes it quite awkward to try and make an overtake here in the race, and I don't even know what that line was into the chicane there. That was just major lapse of concentration heading into that section of track, but finishing off the lap now through the final four corners. We get through here decent enough, and now heading towards the final few corners and trying to just finish this lap off. I don't think it will be good enough, so we'll go for a consecutive lap, and I think we'll be able to improve on it on our second flyer, so we can cut straight on to the end of that. You can see we are improving, but we missed the apex of the second to last corner and the last corner as well slightly, and we only just miss out on improving on our time by 6 thousandths of a second. So yeah, we messed up in the last sector basically, and in fact the middle sector was slower as well, but anyway, we cut on to the end of the session. We were in P15, and looking at the cars behind us, I thought we would get through, but if we scroll down, we're knocked out. P17 with Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Matsushita, Russell and Latifi knocked out with us. So to my surprise, Kimi Raikkonen and Kevin Magnussen able to get through, so that's knocked us out in the first round of qualifying, and we'll be starting this race down in 17th position.
Welcome along then to Sochi and the Russian Grand Prix, one of 8 cities in the world to play host to both the Olympics and a Formula One race. It's a Grand Prix that's proven difficult to crack for anyone beyond the first 2 rows of the grid in recent years, so let's see if that can change today. Situated just 3 miles from the Georgian border, the 3.6 miles Sochi Autodrome has 2 notable overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and then turn 13. 18 corners in total here, 12 to the right and 6 to the left, and it's an average lap speed of around 130 miles per hour. And I'm joined once again by Anthony Davidson to bring you the lowdown for today's race. Let's begin by discussing Daniel Ricciardo. There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a grid penalty, and hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Fingers crossed that's one failure they won't have to worry about today at least. There's not much of a silver lining to starting down the field with a penalty, but I think they'll be able to make some of that back up over the course of the race.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel and Perez. They've taken a grid penalty. Stroll, Sainz, Ricciardo and Esteban Ocon, Magnussen, Raikkonen, the scientist, and Giovinazzi, Albon, Grosjean, Lando Norris and Nobuharu Matsushita. Russell, Latifi, Kvyat and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. And now it's time to head down to the track.
We're going to need you to push hard if we want to get another points finish. Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen as we have a look at the strategy. We're going to go with a one-stop from the soft tyres to the mediums. It says it's slightly slower, but I think that will be the way to go. We've also been elevated up into P13 thanks to grid penalties for Albon, Norris Kvyat and Gasly, so that's much higher grid position into 13th than what we originally expected. But we go to the 5 red lights. And the lights are out. We are underway for the Russian Grand Prix. It's a good start versus Antonio Giovinazzi. We get alongside. We try to go around the outside of Magnussen, but I think everyone else is deploying overtake mode along the start straight. Now Raikkonen coming back down the inside as we head into turn 2. It's a bit of an awkward situation up on the outside. We'll try and get back around the outside of Kimi Raikkonen, and we managed to do that and maintain our starting position in P13. We'll see if we can stay close enough to Giovinazzi and Magnussen to maybe make a move later in the lap. But for now, we've managed to maintain 13th position off the start, so that is a pretty good start for us. I should also mention that we're actually relatively close to Alfa Romeo in the constructors' standings, so it's quite important that we do beat them and overtake them as soon as possible. They had a great start to the season before the performance patch sort of nerfed the Ferrari engine, but before that they were very, very quick, so they were able to score some points early in the season. But we're in the fight back at the moment, as is Racing Point, who are also behind Alfa Romeo, which is a little bit crazy. But anyway, we'll see if we can get close enough to Kimi Raikkonen by the time Antonio Giovinazzi rather, by the time we get into the second lap. We're actually pretty close now, and we've got a good exit here. We might go for a dive down the inside, just shy of hitting the back of Magnussen, and we make the move on Giovinazzi. That was really nice actually, and we managed to get ahead of him and move ourselves up into 12th. So we're able to make the moves in this race, it seems, at least on these slower cars compared to us. So yeah, it's been a great first lap for us. Let's hope we can continue this forwards. We move on to lap 4. Magnussen has dropped out of DRS range from the cars ahead. So now we can go for a move down the inside of Magnussen. He locks up as we head into turn 2. We push him a little bit wide. He cuts the corner on the exit of turn 2. And we managed to try and make it around the outside. Magnussen, though, fights back on the inside. We've got the momentum, though. We'll sweep around. Magnussen's still there, but into turn 4 will be later on the break. We don't get anywhere near something that remotely resembles an apex, but we get ahead of Magnussen, which is the important thing. Nicholas Latifi retires from the race with a mechanical failure, so the Williams rookie will not finish his first Russian Grand Prix, unfortunately for him. But we move on all the way now to lap 13 of the race, and we have finally caught up to the 2 Renaults, Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo. So Ocon just trying to follow along with his much faster teammate, use the DRS to try and stay in contention, and it's working very well for him because I just can't get close enough to make an overtake. We have actually a better engine, I believe, than the factory Renault team, but it isn't really helping us at the moment. We may have a draggier.
Leading our teammate by 15.8 seconds.
We may have a draggier car, but yeah, we just can't make the move on Esteban Ocon. You can see we got close at the end of the straight, and we continue just to not quite get close enough to Esteban Ocon, and it's been very, very frustrating to be stuck behind these two as we try again and again along both the front straight and the back straight. So this time along the back straight we're actually a fair way back, and we don't really have a chance. But I've asked Jeff, and Ocon will be doing a 2-stop in this race, but that's Hamilton exiting pit lane there, and we're going to try and go around the outside of Hamilton into turn 2, and we've managed to get it done. Hamilton is going to be absolutely raging with his team. I'm not sure if he had a slow pit stop or if they just miscalculated the time difference, but he has come out in a bunch of traffic. He's got myself and the 2 Renaults to overtake, and given how much of a struggle it is to overtake here, it seems, from what I've experienced in this race so far, Hamilton is not in for a good day. And there is his teammate Valtteri Bottas, who comes out just ahead of the 2 Renaults. So polar opposite situations for the 2 Mercedes drivers, and I'm sure Lewis Hamilton will be speaking to his engineers about that one. But as we continue on, Esteban Ocon makes his stop, and gives us a brief moment of clean air before we catch up to Daniel Ricciardo.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
Ricciardo is on the 1 stop, the same as us. But
The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap.
we're actually pulling away from Hamilton, interestingly enough there. But Ricciardo pulls it into the pits, and we will follow him in on the 19th lap of 53 in this race, and we'll get a new set of mediums.
Go, exit now. We're racing on the exit. Release, release.
Onto the
That was
car,
our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
and we re-emerge back onto the racing circuit in also a bunch of traffic right behind Esteban Ocon, so that's not great, but he has another stop to make anyway, so that's not a big deal, but it's quite frustrating to be stuck behind him again. So we go down the inside and just about manage to make the move on Ocon while he's stuck behind a bit of a train of cars here, currently now tail-ended by Danik Fiat, so a group of slower cars definitely helping me out there, getting ahead of Ocon. Otherwise we may have had a similar situation with just getting stuck behind him and Ricciardo over and over. So we get the DRS on Fiat. Can we make a move on him? We look left and right a bunch of times, but we eventually choose the right hand side. Can we make the move into the chicane? We have a think about it down the inside, but we just pull out of it at the last minute. It seems to be a closing gap. Fiat did leave the space in the end, but we didn't take it. But we eventually go for the move into the final 2 corners. Fiat leaves the space on the inside just about there, and we have to be a little bit forceful, but we do manage to make the move stick and move ourselves up into what is currently 13th position, though effectively I think we're in the top 10 now, so it's actually been a pretty decent recovery drive. A lot of that was done on well, penalties, to be completely fair, but nonetheless we have managed to fight our way through the field fairly well, around the outside of Kevin Magnussen for the 2nd time in the same corner in one race, and that was a nice move on the Dane there. And now we are right behind Daniel Ricciardo as we exit the final corner.
Teammate behind is 12.1 seconds.
But Ricciardo himself has DRS from Pierre Gasly. We're just going to watch these two battle it out. The Renault and the AlphaTauri. The Renault, the much faster car there, easily gets the move done as we try and make it down the inside of Pierre Gasly into turn 3. I was hoping he would leave space there. Thankfully, he spots us at the last minute. We squeeze through on the inside, and we managed to overtake Pierre Gasly there. And I think that is most of the traffic now cleared. So, moving on, we are still battling away with Daniel Ricciardo. We're trying to be as close as possible behind him through turn 3 to make a dive into turn 4. We're just going to go for it down the inside, and we'll block past him more or less there and move ourselves up into 10th position. But there are still more pit stops to be made for the front runners in this race. Could mix things up, and now Ocon is taking advantage there and overtaking his teammates, and Ocon moved himself up into 11th. So opportunistic there from Ocon, but he has gained the advantage over his teammate at the moment, but he still has another stop to make, and you'll also notice he's on the softs. But anyway, moving on, we have caught up to Kimi Raikkonen, but he pulls into the pits as soon as we catch him, and well, that's not going to be a huge problem for us. We were catching him at about 2 seconds a lap or something ridiculous. That's just the pace difference of our tyres versus his, I suppose. But anyway, there wasn't a lot in the next phase of the race. So as we continue on, we move on to lap 36 in the race. We're currently in 7th position after everyone else has made their final stops, and we've now got Lewis Hamilton behind us in this race, and we've got a hit from behind there, and Hamilton getting very, very aggressive, and that was a little bit uncalled for, I feel like. We'll see the onboard, and he was just, I don't know, he was a bit all over the place. We're both all over the place heading into that corner, but Hamilton just sending it at the last moment, and well, it's very fortunate for him that he didn't break his front wing. We managed to get him back there on the inside, being a little bit forceful, and hits the onboard. We chop across him quite aggressively there. I didn't realize how much overspeed he had, but we managed to make the move stick back down the inside there, and Hamilton almost turned right into us. But anyway, as we continue on, Hamilton going for it again, and he's actually going to get a nice little switch back here as we head into turn 3. We're going to try and hold it around the outside, and we're doing a decent enough job here trying to pinch him as tightly on the apex. Here comes Ricciardo as well, and he's going to make the move on Hamilton down the inside into turn 4. We run ourselves a little bit wide, but we've made the position stick, and now Daniel Ricciardo is the car behind us. Hamilton's lost another position, so that is an absolute disaster for his championship fight. He's lost a few points recently versus Valtteri Bottas, and this is not a good race for him, as Valtteri Bottas is in the lead of the race. It is an absolute disastrous day for Lewis Hamilton. We continue to defend from Daniel Ricciardo. You would assume if we can hold off Hamilton for a few laps, we should be able to hold off Ricciardo. And
full course caution. The safety car is out.
And the safety car is out, and that is because Pierre Gasly has retired with a mechanical failure, parks it up on the exit, heading onto the main straight, the back straight rather, and that was Valtteri Bottas on his way past in the lead of the race. And you can see where we were as the safety car was called around this time, where Bottas backs off. We're along the front straight, so we're at opposite ends of the circuit to the race leader.
P7, 7th place. Stroll is ahead of you. Okay, gap ahead is 1.4 seconds. They're on old mediums. Ricciardo behind. The gap is less than a second. They're on old mediums. Our gap to first place is 4.6 seconds. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. 6 laps to go.
So yeah, with not long left to go in this race, we are right on the back of Lance Stroll, and that is a potential overtake we could make. Lance Stroll is on similar age tyres to us, maybe a few laps newer, but he's on the one stop as well. So I feel like we could make this work for us.
Let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap.
When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags.
So here we go on the safety car restart, trying to get a good exit out of the final corner. We missed the apex though, and give ourselves really...
Ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
we give ourselves a really terrible exit. But anyway, we will have to fight off the cars behind as we head towards turn 2. We're very late on the break. We managed to hold our position as we get past the back markers there. Moving up the side to obey the blue flags, and they won't get in our way. But as we continue on to the very last lap of the race, you can see we are close to Lance Stroll, but we're just not quite there, and that has been the case since the green flag dropped after the restart. We've just never quite been able to get there. This is about as close as we have been to the Canadian, so we'll see if we can make the move somewhere on this lap along the back straight potentially, but he's doing just enough to stay ahead of us for the time being. And I mean, to be completely fair, he's in a better car than what we have, so I think it would be a huge ask for us to overtake him, but we'll see what we can do as we head towards the back straight for the final time. A bit of a mistake there into that corner, and that's just let Stroll off the hook. We go for a very aggressive line, bouncing over the curbs there, and as we head towards a chicane, can we go for a move on Stroll? Not quite gonna make it. We just didn't quite get close enough. We'll try and straighten up the exit here like we did with Kimi Räikkönen, but we just didn't get the run. The racing point is just too strong through the corners. You can see how aggressively we're trying to just take as much of the track limits as we dare, but it's not going to be enough. Lance Stroll's going to hold on to P6, but for us it's going to be P7 from 13th.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And that is not a bad result by any standards. I will certainly take that. Driver of the day as well. Awesome stuff.
That's a spectacular victory then, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
And I can see the drivers starting to approach the podium for the victory celebrations. A real team victory today. Everybody played their part. Congratulations then to Mercedes, your race winners today.
So it's Valtteri Bottas who takes the race win and secures the Constructors' Championship for Mercedes. Carlos Sainz finishes in P2 and Max Verstappen rounds off the podium. Unbelievable stuff.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to the scientist. There was a lot going on all down the field, but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
The Constructors' Championship may be a foregone conclusion at the moment, but regardless, let's look at the standings. It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
So that result pushes us ahead of Alfa Romeo in the Constructors, so that is very good for us. They were very strong at the beginning of the season, Alfa Romeo, and thankfully we've been able to overcome that in the recent past. And I think at a circle like this where there's two massive straights, the engine power is going to mean a lot, and that's the real strength of our car. And I feel like that showed somewhat today, but clearly we still need some work on the drag reduction. The top end speed just wasn't there, and we just couldn't really make the moves we needed to on Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo, and then on Lance Stroll at the end we just didn't have that last bit of push that we needed along the straights. There's Bottas rejoining ahead of the Renaults. That's effectively what won him the race. He, at that point put 3 cars between himself and Bottas, and by the end of the race, that 3 cars turned into 7 or 8 cars. So, yeah, it made a huge difference to his race, and obviously a huge difference to Hamilton's just getting stuck in the traffic. And I thought on the restart that he would charge through the field. Hamilton would for sure, but he never really got close. I think he got stuck behind Ricciardo the whole time. So very strange scenes at Mercedes. Maybe he had a bit of damage from one of the times he made contact with us. There's us swiping across in front of him there. But to be fair, that was our one move to defend. We didn't change our line after that, so it's fair in that way, I suppose. But anyway, there's the restart. Oh, I did not catch that during the race. I'm gonna have to have a better look at that. Anyway, interviews.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy?
Well, we basically went for the one stop just to gain track position, given how much trouble we were having making overtakes in the first stint, and it paid out for us, and we ended up making a lot of positions in the race.
Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
Yeah, I think we really maximised what we could have done today. So yeah, I'm pretty happy.
There's quite a buzz around this team at the moment. What are your thoughts on them?
About Red Bull, I think honestly they could be doing a little bit better with the car they had. Obviously they missed out on second place today to Sainz in the McLaren.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Alright, so rivalry with Esteban Ocon. We are tying that one for this race. Ocon with the faster lap, but we have the finishing position advantage. We're still beating him in the rivalry overall. But anyway, get a bunch of acclaim rolling in, level 12 at the moment, and $1.11 million coming in for that race. And unfortunately we did damage the car slightly, so only 90k.
Morning, boss. This week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
So activity timeline now, we've actually got 9 days until the next event, and we'll be making use of every single one of them. We will attend F1 Esports, we will do the second driver PR filming, and that will have the acclaim rolling in from those two, as well as the weight training to fill out those last 2 days. As for R&D, after the practice sessions we had enough resource points to fix that drag reduction upgrade that failed, and we'll also go for a weight redistribution upgrade on the chassis side. So we have enough money for a facility upgrade. This will probably be the last one that we do for the season. Heading into the Japanese Grand Prix, 5 rounds to go. I think it will be a good time to start saving money to spend on potentially a better driver, or even if we don't hire anyone else, Matsushita will still probably demand more money with his greater experience, I suppose. So we'll need to watch out for that heading into the final few races. Make sure we build up a bit of money, and we know what we want to do. But anyway, we will go for the build time upgrade there. But other than that, there's not too much else left to cover, so we'll just fast forward through time. For the next event, we attend F1 Esports. We get the facility upgrade coming in, second driver PR filming, resource points, all that sort of usual stuff between events. We also get the barge boards upgrade. I think that's the aero upgrade that we fixed at the start of the weekend. But other than that, there's not really anything else left to say, other than thank you very much for watching this video to the end, and I will see you next time for the Japanese Grand Prix. Should be an interesting one, so I'll see you then. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.